Hello and welcome to ATM. My name is Steve Rockwood and I am the marketing manager at PureDriven. Today we are going to talk about how geolocation marketing works for franchises. I'm joined by special guest Emily Moore, franchise development manager at the Scout Guide. Emily, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Steve?
I am very good. I had my 6 hour commute day yesterday, so it's nice to be back in the home office and basically roll out of bed and walk down one hallway to get here.
That's always nice. I hope you have your home slippers on too, because I do.
I do actually. I have work slippers and I have guitar slippers. So the guitar ones have a hard plastic bottom and the other ones don't. So I have the soft ones right now.
Love that. Very strategic with your slippers.
Yes, exactly. The ones I have now are penguins actually. Penguins are my favorite things and my wife always buys me penguin stuff, so I have
Oh,
some penguin slippers. Very official.
nice.
Well, before we get into the geolocation talk, can you just tell me a little bit about the franchise that you're a part of, the Scout Guide?
Yes, of course. And thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk about the Scout Guide and geo-targeting today. But for those of you that don't know, the Scout Guide is a premier collection of small independent businesses throughout the country. Our published guides are featured, our published guides feature the best homegrown businesses, artists, artisans, and entrepreneurs across the country. We have over 60 cities currently, and our guides are distinguished by beautiful photography and thoughtful design. The Scout Guide has become a go to resource for travelers and locals alike. Our owners are always scouting new businesses, discovering hidden neighborhood gems, and cultivating lists of the best places to shop, eat, and discover in their town. Doing this, they create a network of people that are passionate about their community and supporting small businesses. So essentially, we've been around for almost 10 years now. We're in a little bit over 60 cities across the country, and our franchisees really highlight the best of local in their town and create a beautiful guide that is distributed throughout their city, and create a network of other people in their community that want to support the local business owners.
Awesome. It sounds like you've gone through that before. That sounded pretty good. So
We get asked that a lot. What is the Scout Guide? And so
nice.
we like to be pretty clear on what exactly we are.
Awesome. Well, that was very clear. And then my other question for you on that note is, what do you do at the Scout Guide?
Yeah, so I do our franchise development. So essentially, I walk people through the due diligence, decision making, and franchise agreement signing phase with the Scout Guide. But within that, there's a whole umbrella of things. So you do prospecting, you figure out who the best fit is for the Scout Guide, and you go through. I mean, marketing is a big part of it too, figuring out who our franchisees are and how we reach them. And we've got a whole team of people that help with this, and then also compliance is a big part of franchise development. We've got someone on our team that manages all of compliance, but within franchise development, you definitely have got your hand in it as well.
Gotcha. And I know you're on LinkedIn because that's how we found each other. So I know
Yeah.
you're prospecting on LinkedIn and probably connecting with people there for the Scout Guide.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So we know who you are now, Emily. So let's talk about kind of your approach to geolocation marketing since really the Scout Guide is so much of a local product for each individual franchise owner. How do you approach geolocation marketing, and when did you first start using it, either yourself or the Scout Guide in general?
Yeah. That's a great question. And before I go into that, I should thank and give a shout out to Lindsay on our team. She's our in house social media marketing expert. And so she's the one that really puts this into play. But we actually started the Scout Guide on the same week. And so it was really fun to kind of go through our time at the Scout Guide together. But we started doing geo-targeting in March of 2018, so really only about a year.
Yeah.
And we approached it by first determining who or where our expander markets were. So essentially that means, where should we land that will allow visibility to other markets. So you think about we were not in the state of New York, but we targeted New York because a ton of people go there, and there's a lot of people that live there that maybe, come in and out. And within that, we geo-targeted this, I guess, Manhattan, but also we went within 25 miles of that and found someone in the Hamptons. And so one of our newer franchises is in the Hamptons. And we wanted that as an expander market because a lot of people from Manhattan most likely are going to the Hamptons during the summer. So they're seeing the ads while they're in Manhattan. They go to the Hamptons, they see the Scout Guide, they realize that it's a business opportunity for them. And so maybe they take it back. A few other of our expander markets were places in New England. And within that, we got a Nantucket franchise. Also Park City, Utah. It's a big travel town, and a lot of our consumers of the Scout Guide, they go to Park City for their spring vacation or whatever. They're going skiing, and then they see it and they take it back to their town. So I think it's finding your expander markets and figuring out how to touch people there. And, within Park City, you think about Salt Lake City's close to there. And also we went into determining who our ideal owner was, and we named her, and we were trying to figure out where she would be. Nice. And we did that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said nice. You did the persona marketing.
Yeah, we called her Scouts, and she was really cute. But she would be a perfect franchisee, and we are still finding her today. But we did that by surveying our owners, and we were just trying to figure out where these people would be within these markets. And for us, it's a little bit special, where I think we're a little bit of a unique boutique, very niche franchise. And we determined that our franchisees they're at antique and garden shows, they're in private plane terminals, they're at interior design shows. Weirdly enough, about a third of our franchisees were in one particular sorority. So we actually advertised in their sorority magazine. And we also found out that many of our franchisees are realtors. So we were able to target those people within our expander markets, and really reached a lot of people and got a lot of interest in franchises from it. And for one example that really helped us, I thought was a very unique grassroots way of finding a franchisee, was through geo-targeting. We found a high-end realtor group and sent them, and we found 15 cities that had this high-end realtor group. So we targeted them on social media, and then also sent them our product with a handwritten letter, just telling us who they were, followed up with emails. And so it was like, it was a two-step approach. So they were not only getting our physical product, but they were also kind of low-key being geo-targeted in those areas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, in my other business that I own, I work with realtors a lot, so that makes total sense.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of our franchisees are realtors on the side, or they used to be realtors, or they have someone in their family that they knew. It was just something that we found out by surveying our owners, that they were a part of this one particular sorority, and they were realtors. So it's kind of funny.
Nice. So you sound pretty young. So is the majority of your franchisees pretty young, or is it a big mix?
It's a pretty good mix. I would say that we range anywhere from mid-20s, anywhere up into the mid-50s and early 60s. But I would say more of what connects our owners are they have a desire to have flexibility within their schedule. They want to take care of their families, and own a business while also giving back to their community. And they all have that shared passion of supporting small businesses and kind of being a local insider. So we do consider our owners local insiders and tastemakers in their town. So a lot of our owners were kind of already doing that before realizing they could have a business out of it. And our owners, I mean, essentially they make money by selling pages and selling advertisements in their guide. But there's also a creative side of it, which is why we really highlighted and targeted interior designers and like event planners, because they have that creative aspect, and our owners are in charge of the photo shoots and styling those photo shoots for their ad for their client. But that's why we targeted them.
Awesome. So it sounds like when the franchisees making the guide, they don't actually hire out like another marketing company to help them put the guide together. They use probably the process from the Scout Guide, and then they actually go and create all the content that they sold, basically. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. Exactly. So they will hire a photographer, but besides that, the Scout Guide has an in-house graphic design team that will actually put the guide together. We've got our printer, but a lot of times our franchisees really like the fact that they can own the content and they get to manage their social media channels and be, you know, all hands on deck. They're the ones going into the small businesses, taking pictures of the owners, and on social media day to day, they can be posting about whatever is going on in their town.
Yeah. And then I guess one question that I have on that one then is there a size limit, or I guess a minimum that you have for the Scout Guide for the size of the town that you're looking for, or does it kind of just revolve around what's around there, or I guess how's that work?
Yeah, we have a proprietary system that we use to determine whether or not the Scout Guide could be successful in a market. So we think that if a town has, if someone can think of anywhere from 200 to 400 businesses that they think would be, I guess, could be highlighted in the Scout Guide, then it's probably a good fit for it. We're in lots of different sized cities. And we give people a really large territory because we're not the kind of franchise that, you can't have 2 Scout Guides in one town. But yeah, we do help people early on determine whether or not their town could be a good fit and be successful.
Awesome. Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of geolocation goes into everything, even finding the right franchisee for the job. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, getting back to geo-targeting. Thanks for reining us back in.
Reining us back in. Well, my next question revolves around geo-targeting as well, so we're good. It is, for franchises that haven't yet looked into geolocation marketing, what advice would you give them to get them started on that path?
Yeah, I would say it's not like, when you start geo-targeting, you have to think about it as just kind of one step in the marketing plan. It has to be just one way consumers see the brand. I think it's all about education and letting your consumer fall in love with the brand and the mission first, and then allowing them to see that it's a lifestyle and a business opportunity. But also when it comes to advice, I would say starting with an A/B test. I think anyone that is, and I learned this from Lindsay, our marketing expert, that doing A/B testing is important when you start and kind of analyzing the results and seeing what people are drawn to with your brand. And then from there, staying pretty consistent and not blasting them all of the time with your content. What we do and where we've seen success is putting a lot of money towards marketing something for like a 1 week time, and then maybe taking a little break and then kind of going back at them again with maybe the same general branding, but something a little bit different. And also, I think you have to offer them something. So you can't just have like a picture of your brand with, say, like, join our franchise or learn more about our franchise. I think you offer them something. And what we found success in offering them our webinar. So we have webinars twice a month where we talk about the business opportunity, and we've got a lot of people that join on those every week. So we will highlight that webinar in our social media posts. And I think it's just a really easy barrier of entry for someone that's semi-interested. Maybe they see the website and they don't want to set up a phone call with the franchise development manager, because from a consumer or potential franchisee perspective, that can seem kind of scary. It's like, well, I don't know if I really want to do this, but I want to learn more. But so giving them a way to listen to the opportunity for 15, 20, 30 minutes, I think is a good step. But also offering them things like owner testimonies, and stuff. And like we do client testimonies. So clients that are businesses that are featured in the Scout Guide, they talk about how the Scout Guide brought them success. And I think when a prospect sees how it comes full circle, it helps them really visualize what the business is. But yeah, my advice, start with A/B testing, staying consistent but not blasting, and offer them something.
Awesome. That's really good advice. And actually, if you have a link to one of those webinars or a sign up to the webinar, I'd love to put it in the podcast description and probably show up for one of them one of these days.
Yeah, sure. Steve, thanks. I'll send you the link when we finish with this.
Awesome. Sounds good. So I have two more questions for you, and they're both super simple. So the first one is, what's your favorite part about working in the franchise world?
Oh, I love this. So I would definitely say the people. I think it's really, and when I say the people, I mean the franchisees, the people that you see going through the system and end up being business owners. I think it's so cool to be, or I think when you work in a franchise development role, you work as a coordinator, a therapist, you work as a rule follower in compliance, and you're interviewing and prospecting. And I think it's really cool to see people go through their whole process and making a decision on whether or not a business is a good fit for them, and really helping them understand if the business is a good investment and a good lifestyle fit for them. But on the other side of it, I love helping a company grow and finding people that fit the mission of our overall brand. So for the Scout Guide, it's helping small businesses thrive and connecting new networks together. And I think franchising is a catalyst of making these relationships, as it goes down the funnel. So I think of my role a little bit as a realtor, and I told you this when we spoke briefly last week, but I feel like when I'm helping someone figure out, or telling someone about our franchise, it's like selling a house. Like someone's making a huge investment and they're going to make a ton of memories in their home. And when you're selling a franchise, it's the same thing. They're making a huge investment, they're making a huge lifestyle change, but you're helping them make memories and connections down the road.
Definitely. That's a really good answer. And that did not sound like your corgi in the background. That sounded like a way larger dog than last time.
My little corgi. Yeah.
Really?
So I think the wind was blowing really hard and you had to tell me about it.
Holy moly. That is a scary corgi. I'm afraid of that one. I thought that was like a pit bull.
Barks a lot deeper than his bite.
Jeez, yeah, because corgis are tiny and they are cute, and I love corgis. Actually, I've never owned one, and they're probably my favorite dog. And if you're listening to the podcast, I have no idea why we're talking about corgis. It's because last time I talked to Emily, she was walking her corgi.
Yeah. Shameless plug. My corgi's name is Mango, and you can find him on Instagram at Mango the Doggo.
That is awesome. I will definitely send my wife that link. She will love it. She follows more animals on Instagram than people, 100%.
Well, you told me you were going to dog sit some corgis.
Yes, we are. We're going to dog sit. I think May 4th is the day that we're dog sitting the corgi. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
we have 2 cats, no dogs yet, but I grew up with dogs, and I know we'll get one eventually. But the podcast makes it tough. But then you get awesome segues like this where you get to talk about dogs when you're talking about geolocation marketing. So what's better than that? Well,
dog will find you just how geo-targeting finds you.
Exactly. I'll get an awesome ad for a dog right after this because my Google Home is listening to me and it's going to start shooting me dog ads. Well, my final question for you, Emily, is if someone wants to learn more about the Scout Guide, where would they go?
They should start with their local city. So wherever you are, I mentioned we're in 60 cities across the country. Look on Instagram, look on the Google. If you're, I don't know, let's just say you're in Dallas, look at the Scout Guide Dallas and see what you find. I bet you'll find some really cool local businesses and artisans that you haven't seen yet. So check them out. You can also just see our local website where we've got a network of all of the small business owners that are part of the Scout Guide across the country. So if you're traveling somewhere soon, check out the city. We've got city cheat sheets, like if you're traveling there. If you're interested in learning more about owning a franchise, you can go to our franchise website and check the franchise tab to learn more. And you can contact me. My name's Emily. I'm emore@thescoutguide.com. And we'd love to talk more. And Steve, I'll send you our webinar recording. So if you want to just learn more that way.
That sounds good. Well, I am going to end the podcast here. So thank you, Emily, for joining me. It was very insightful, and I enjoyed talking to you, and your accent is very nice, especially up here in the north. So it sounds nice on the recording. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure. I'm so excited for what all you do to help the franchise world, and excited just for franchising as a whole and its future.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to keep Emily on the line, so don't hang up quite yet, but I am going to end the podcast here for everyone else. So thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you here next time on ATM.
Thanks, guys. Keep listening to ATM.
Thank you.